Skills on the platform, back at you with the continuation of the first video. And this title is A Woman's Mind Frame, Not Her True Nature. So the society today has led you to believe, even a lot of people on social media, YouTube, has led you to believe that the way you see most women, a majority of women are acting today, and that's her true nature, which is completely false. That's a misconception, and what it simply is doing, it's just simply allowing women to continue in the behavior that they've been behaving in the past, say, 30 years, 40 years, when the feminist movement began. Okay, so all you guys are doing is perpetuating this feminist movement, this whole phase, women acting the way they act, and as if that's her true nature, which is completely a lie. It's false, and you guys need to completely stop it. A lot of y'all over here just trying to get views, trying to speak controversial topics, as just to get views. But when it's all said and done, this is not her true nature. Okay? Her true nature is of a woman in Proverbs 31. Okay? There's a true nature of a woman. If a woman is not acting in this way, of Proverbs 31, verses 10 through 31, she is behaving against her own self. She's going against herself. She's going against her own people. She's going against her own children in hopes of, I don't really know what the point is, but all I know is society has tricked her. The media has tricked her, and we know that she's still under the influence of the Willie Lynch letters. The Willie Lynch letters talks about division of people for over 1,000 years. Okay, hundreds of years of division based upon mindsets, and this is the mindset that she has today. Not all, but a majority of the women, and a lot of men have this mindset, but it's a small percentage of men who has this mindset who corrupts the majority. Okay, because there's a large percentage of men out here who are single. They're not married. They don't have children. So these men possibly could not be influencing society the way a certain group of men are today. All right. So let's go on about this article that I wanted to talk about briefly. This article is the whole phase. Is the whole phase really empowering? Okay, so you can just search this up on YouTube. On the search engines, Google, etc. All right, hold on one more. Okay, all right. So all right, so this particular article all right, so this article, right, is as follows. Now, we know that society, like I said, has tricked and deceived women, period. Because here's why this is a fact. Studies have proven, according to a lot of women, Caucasian women speak about this, a lot of feminists speak about this. They're trying to make their wrongs right now, right? But obviously, it's been so many years into it, a lot of women are just completely corrupt behind it. They think that they have this perception of women are not equal to men, or they don't have equal rights, which is a bunch of nonsense. Because I clearly explained it in the first video of Proverbs 31, which describes the type of woman, that a true nature of a woman and a virtuous woman, right? And how she's supposed to be behaving. If women were acting like the Proverbs 31 woman from verses 10 to 31, there would be, society would be completely different. I tell you that. It would be more productive, right? And there would be a lot of these, there wouldn't be a need for a lot of these corporation and institutions of today. That these are the ones who perpetuate this mindset towards women of being a feminist, because they understood that if you can corrupt a woman, you can literally mold society into any way you want it to go, because women have a lot of influence. And according to Proverbs 31, it tells you the influence of her, who she really is. She is very influential in society when she's in her right mind. And even if she's in her wrong mind, she could be very influential, as we can see of society today, right? So, thus this article. I'm going to go ahead and run into it real quick. I might not read the whole thing, but it's a newsletter published in the students of Johns Hopkins since 1896. Since 1896, y'all. Published in the students of Johns Hopkins since 1896. January 16th of 2020. Right? Now, with this article, it talks about, is the whole phase really empowering? Is the whole phase really empowering, y'all? No, it's not. It's a trick. You've been deceived, women. A lot of you women have been deceived. You've been tricked to think and behave this way. It's not benefiting you. That's why little your mothers are in their 50s and 60s. They're single. 70s, they're single. They don't have men. Because they've been fed into this mindset of feminism. They've been tricked. They've been duped. You know what I'm saying? You've been hoodwinked. Okay? You've been tricked. Deceived by the same people that you put your trust in. It's sad, but it's true. So, is the whole phase really empowering? The gender disparity of heteronormative hookup culture. Okay? You guys are miserable. You should see the picture of this woman lying in the bed, right? She's lying in the bed with a set of roses next to her pillow, right? And the title says Tinder. You guys on social media trying to get attention, and it's false. It's like you guys are not getting attention. It's a false, you're not getting real attention. You think you're getting attention. You guys are seeking validation off of computers. Like, that's weird. Like, a lot of the women, y'all done turned into weirdos. You be talking about men are weirdos, which there are a lot of weirdos men out here, but y'all, a lot of women, a lot of y'all are weirdos. Y'all been tricked. Look, it is proven that there's been studies that show that women are more miserable than they are today than they were in the past. Women are more miserable today. Why? Because you've been tricked. And you don't want to admit you've been tricked. To be able to better yourself and move forward to do better. Right? So, let me just read this article real quick. I might not read the whole thing. Try to read as much as possible. Get this out the way. You guys can go to the website, like I said, to where it is. It's a Johns Hopkins newsletter published by the students of Johns Hopkins since 1896. Is the whole phase really empowering? All right, so let me just go dig in here real quick. There is nothing wrong with a woman's wanting casual sex. That's bullcrap. That is bullcrap. There is something wrong with wanting casual sex. You guys are not made for that. Okay? You are made to find a husband, or excuse me, a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. So that means you guys are supposed to be trained to be wives from your parents. So the deception began from childhood by your own parents. Your parents have started, were the first ones to trick you, but then your parents were tricked by society. So society actually was the first ones to deceive and trick people. Then they kept passing this knowledge on to their children. Thus, we see the generational curses that we see today. But then it also originated from the Willie Lynch letters, which started the whole deception, okay? Which is recent. Now, let's go on, right? There is something wrong with casual sex, for that matter. Now, it says, there is nothing wrong with a woman wanting something more than casual sex, which is a lie. The game itself is what's wrong. Now, how are you going to say the game is wrong, right? But then you're going to turn around and say that there's nothing wrong with a woman wanting casual sex. The whole thing is wrong. The whole concept of woman seeking casual sex is completely wrong. I don't care what nobody says. That's what it is. It's facts. Okay? It actually deteriorates society. It deteriorates society. Women running around here acting like whores and acting like it's okay. It's not okay to be a whore. It was always shunned upon in the past, and it shall be shunned upon today. Period. There's nothing good about being a whore. And thing about it, at least whores get paid. A lot of y'all out here just giving yourselves up for nothing. Whores will look down upon, but at least they get paid. A lot of y'all don't even get paid. That's even worse. So that means you're worse than a whore. Let's keep it moving. There's nothing. There's something wrong with that. The game. It's saying the game is what's really wrong. Obviously, the game is wrong, but it's wrong. That's just wrong. Period. Okay. Women seeking casual sex. Period. You guys are bigger than, better than that. All right. You guys are supposed to be real virtuous women. You're supposed to have standards. And a lot of men can't do what they do if women didn't have the standards that they're supposed to have. A man can't lay down on a woman unless she allows it. Okay? A woman must allow a man to enter into her. Unless it's by force, then that's a whole nother topic. That son of a bee needs to get destroyed. Period. If you impose yourself on a woman, you need to be taken care of and dealt with accordingly. Hung by a tree, beat to sleep. Right? That's not tolerated at all. But you women, most of you women are allowing these men to run through you. You become run-throughs. Then you wonder why nobody don't want you when you get 40 and 50. It's because you've been ran through by over 50, 100 men. Some of you body counts are just ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. There is no benefit in having 50, 100 men that you slept with at all. There is no whole phase. It's not worth it. Because your value decreases with every single man you sleep with. Period. Now, it says hookup culture has become increasingly prevalent among American youth. Okay, dominating college campuses as a result, as the default mode of sexual interactions. Okay, so it's become the default mode of sexual interactions on college campuses. This is where a lot of this foolishness began, right? Is on college campuses. You got people thinking that it's okay to just be sleeping around and it's okay to just frolic around with different men. It's demeanoring. You're putting yourselves down, ladies. You guys are supposed to be better than that. A lot of women talk about the matriarchy and this and how women used to run societies. How are you going to run a society but you sleep with everybody in society? Doesn't make any sense. You guys have been duped and you guys fall right into the trap like you have no brain. A lot of women act like they don't have no brains. You can't think for yourselves. That's sad. Anyways, hookup culture has become increasingly prevalent among American youth. All right, dominating college campuses as the default mode of sexual interactions. Hookup culture has become more popular with the rise of individualistic attitudes, as hooking up as purposeful, vague words with no single uniform definition implies the ability to undergo sexual relations without expectations of commitment or emotional attachment. Sexual interaction between a man and a woman is sacred. At least it's supposed to be. It's been corrupted by media and society today to think it's okay to just casually sleep with people. You guys, even men, you run around with sleeping with a whole bunch of women. What do you think it's doing for you? First of all, you're draining yourself. Then you wonder why you're weak. You have no energy, right? Because you keep putting your energy out with different women. There's no benefit on that. There is no benefit to sleep with multiple women, but you get so-called bragging rights. Okay, and after that, then what? I slept with this chick, that chick. Oh man, you the man. No, you not. You POS. Because you don't understand that a woman is a receiver and a man's the giver. So if you run around giving yourself to all these bunch of women, what do you have left for yourself to be able to go out there and be successful, you dummy? That's not even smart. It's not even intelligent for you to be running around sleeping with multiple women. It's not intelligent at all. That's why a lot of women are so masculine today, because they have so many of these men's energy. All she's doing is taking your energy, you dummy. You then you wonder why you complain about her being more masculine than you. You just gave her your energy freely for nothing, because you were trying to get a nut off. A lot of you men are weak today. Alright, so let's keep it going, right? So it says the purposeful vague word with no single uniform definition implies the ability to undergo sexual relations without expectation of commitment or emotional attachment. Sex is emotional for both parties. Men can be a little bit more detached. Women are more attached, but nonetheless, it's still emotional for both parties. With the idea of being tied down as something to avoid. Like, y'all run from being tied down like it's something to avoid or something. Like it's the plague or some shit. But then you quick to just want to just jump into bed with somebody. It's contradictory. Hookup culture allows college students to engage in sexual activity without feeling like they have compromised their freedom of autonomy. For many women who have traditionally been pursued to choose between a relationship and a career, the freedom of hookup culture is often interpreted as an outlet for women to be as sexually free as men, who are perceived as able to engage in sexual activity without consequences. There's consequences when you get into all of these types of sexual activity with multiple men. You have consequences, ladies. There are consequences to this. Because here's the thing. When you sleep with multiple men, you cause yourself not able to bond with one man because you're corrupt by so many different men, right? You're receiving all of these men's energy. Now, this guy, that guy, obviously all men are not the same. Some are POSs and some are not, but then some are in between. But then you're taking all these energies, then you wonder why you act so masculine and you can't be feminine. Because you're absorbing all these different men's energies and then you're putting it out there. You guys are vessels. Whatever you put in a vessel, that's what it is. So you're letting all these men enter you, right? These men are not right in the head, then you wonder why you end up crazy. Because you're letting too many men enter your womb. Your body is supposed to be a temple. You don't let anybody in a temple. Not everybody's qualified to enter your temple. But you let any Tom, Dick, and Joe in it. Like it's not worth anything. You guys don't even value yourselves. That's the problem. And society has taught you that it's okay not to devalue yourself. The less men you've been with, the more valuable you are. Period. So make sure do this without consequences, right? As a senior, this is he talks about as a senior at Hopkins. I have come across many stories of feminines presenting people who have been negatively affected by the prominent hypernormative hookup culture. Excuse me. It's the heteronormative hookup culture. That's heteronormative. Heteronormative hookup culture on the campus. Although this culture is driven by feminist intentions to empower and sexually liberate women, it is not fulfilling. It's not fulfilling, y'all. You are not being fulfilled. That's why you're miserable. A lot of you women get 30, your 30s. You've been ran through by so many different men in your 20s and in your 30s. You get to the 40s and you wonder why you can't think straight. You're miserable and don't nobody want you because you have a history of men know a woman that's been ran through. You can hide your true numbers. You know what I mean? A man will really never know your true numbers, right? But he knows that you've been ran through according to how you act, according to how you think, okay? According to you being in a relationship or not. You guys are out here talking about you're not in relationships, but when you are in relationships, because you sleep with all different type of men. So you are in a relationship. So you're lying. Stop lying. And you wonder why you're miserable when you get to older age. Y'all be miserable. And statistics have shown more women are miserable today than they were 30, 40 years ago. It's a fact. Because of this feminist movement. So it is not fulfilling. Or feminists, and many would believe, and may lead to negative outcomes for individuals, mental health, and psychological well-being. Think about it. You guys got to go to bed at night and remember that you slept with this guy, that guy, that guy. You know what I'm saying? You guys are messed up in the head to think it's okay to sleep with multiple men. A lot of y'all women are sick. Society has tricked you and you are sick. You've been deceived, ladies. Right? So yeah, it affects your mental health and psychological well-being. Research on hookup culture and young women's psychological well-being has been relatively inconsistent in determining causal effects. Studies have shown consequences for women and the association between diminished mental health and casual sex that unveiled the problematic nature of hookup culture. It's a problem. Hookup culture is wrong. It's not good. It's not helping none of you at all. You're not sexually liberated by this nonsense. You're not sexually liberated by having multiple sex partners. You're not. It's not true. It's a lie. You've been tricked. You've been duped. You've been hoodwinked. Students must recognize the pitfalls of hookup culture when considering participating in it because they should be aware of the dangerous consequences of ending up in an uncomfortable situation. As y'all not scared of STDs? I know I am. Man, y'all not scared of catching STDs and HIV and all this crap? A lot of y'all don't even got enough money to cure it. There's cures for these things out here, but a lot of y'all don't even got no money to cure it. So why would you put yourself in that position? Condoms break. Once the condom break, that's it. If somebody got something, you got it too. Y'all think y'all protected by condoms. It's bull crap. Y'all out here tricking yourselves. Y'all deceive your own selves. The consequences of for women as an association between diminished mental health and casual sex that unveils the problematic nature of hookup culture. Students must recognize the pitfalls of hookup culture when consider participating in it because they should be aware of the dangerous consequences of ending up in an uncomfortable situation. Additionally, postmodern feminism has already recognized that allowing women to act like men is not the root of empowerment. Feminists has already recognized this. It is not empowering. Feminists have already said it. You've been tricked. You all have been tricked. Men and women. You've been deceived, y'all. We've been tricked. It says additional posts. Let me read that again. Additional modern feminism has already recognized that allowing women to act like men is not the root of empowerment and equality. Women may seek empowerment through the sexual gratification of hookup culture, but many often walk away from the hookup feeling the opposite. Man, you guys know you walk away from, you just sitting there letting a man just run through you. So, man, you probably hardly knew. Just let him just run up in you a lot of times with no condom. And you think you're empowered by it. You know you guys feel weak after that. You feel disempowered. It does the opposite of empowerment. You feel disempowered. You feel all used up, and that's exactly what's happening. You're being used up. Right. So they walk away feeling the opposite of empowerment. You guys are not being empowered by it. So stop. Stop tricking yourselves. Women tend to experience more sexual regret than men after a hookup. While men are more likely to feel satisfied, despite an increasing conscious effort to subvert sexual double standards, women still deal with the stigma and the judgment of their hookup activity, as they are more likely to express concerns of damage to their reputation after casual sex. You guys are destroying your own reputation. You women are destroying your own reputation by engaging in this type of activity. You're destroying yourselves. To think that you could be empowered by sleeping with multiple people, that is the biggest trick. One of the biggest deceptions of society has done to y'all today. People talking about you behind your back. People know who you are. They may not say nothing. Men might not say nothing to you and make you think it's okay. But behind your back, they're talking about you. They're talking about this B ain't nothing. She's a run through. Probably bringing his homeboys over to run you through you too. And then you guys know in the back of your mind you're destroying yourselves, but you act like it's okay. Then you wonder why. You're so heartless. You don't care about nothing. You wonder why you run around here careless and heartless, because you have no heart after so many men you've been with. Once you hit a certain number of men, I don't know the exact number, but once you hit a certain number, you just go cold. You can easily just block it out. That's what whores do. You know? A lot of people, these women commit suicide. And there's no amount of money that can fix that. There's no amount of so-called wealth or gain you can get that would fix that. You're scarred for life. Most men don't want you. Especially the men that you want don't want you. After you've done engage in these type of activities. Why not preserve yourself and get the man you really want? Because I guarantee, if you have less of a body count, the men you want will want you back. No questions. You can get those men easily because you're high quality. Now, even if he runs around and goes sleep around with a whole bunch of women, don't mean you go do it. You be better than that. You talk about y'all want to be better than men. That's how you be better than men. Don't follow his footsteps. Try to be running around with different women. You're better than that. You're supposed to be better than him. And naturally, in your true nature, you are. In a sense. Especially if he's running around town sleeping with a whole bunch of women behind your back and you don't know about it. He's definitely not worth much. Women tend to experience more sexual regret than men after hookup, while men are more likely to feel satisfied despite the increasing conscious effort to subvert sexual double standards. Women still deal with the stigma of judgment for the hookup activity, as they are more likely to express concerns of damage to their reputation after casual sex. This is a consequence that men do not have to worry about. In fact, hookups for men are often associated with positive outcomes, which is not true, like boosted self-esteem and masculinity, which is bullcrap. A woman's experience of regret is often characterized by shame of the feeling of being used, which you are being used up, it's true, while men are more likely to feel regret over the selection of the partner and the partner unattractiveness. That's crazy, right? So that's typically true. Men will feel regret because the woman was ugly or she wasn't as so-called attractive, right? But you shouldn't be sleeping with women because she looks good. That's bullcrap. You're supposed to have certain type of qualities that you look for in a woman, and that's what's attractive. Society got y'all all twisted with looks, and looks are deceiving. Just because something look good, that don't mean it's good for you. Know that. Just because something looks good doesn't mean it's good for you. A burger looks good, but that crap is friggin' deadly over time. Alright? A woman's experience internal turmoil following casual sex, men's regrets based on the choice of women that reveals how hookup culture is for straight men is appearance driven. See, it's only appearance driven, right? Appearance is deceiving. Like scrolling through a catalog of options with hopes of picking something pretty enough. This kind of behavior is especially rampant in the basement of fraternity houses at Hopkins. At the goal of many frat parties is the host as many women as it says frat parties is to host as many women as possible while limiting the number of men present. They do it on purpose. This effectively allows the brothers of an organization to have more options, be more selective when choosing a sexual partner, right? Which even causes that in the mindset of women. Women follow typically the mindset of these so-called men at these frat parties. So they have a limited amount of men on purpose. So that way these men have more choices, then these women start to think this way also. They just simply follow the mindsets of a lot of these the men who think like this. Typically misogynist type men, right? But then you have misandry, women who actually, don't respect men, and then you have misogynists, men who don't respect women, right? So let's move on. Gotta get this done as quick as possible. This effectively allows the brother of an organization to have more options and be more selective when choosing a sexual partner. This behavior not only cultivates a predatory environment, it's predatorial, but it also gives an incongruent amount of power to the men who choose to participate in our campus's hookup culture. Once a freshman who participates in these events, I remember permitting desire among myself and many feminine presenting friends to be chosen, to be paid attention to be wanted. This experience is corroborated by the fact that women are well aware that they are often heavily evaluated in terms of sexual worth. This dynamic encourages many women to obtain sexual validation through hookup, right? So these women seek sexual validation through hookups. You don't have to be validated through a hookup. It says brainwash, which reinforce their own self-objectification. The Willie Lynch Chip program telling you the perpetuation of objectifying women reveals the patriarchal nature of the hookup culture that stifles the ability of women to assert themselves beyond just how they look are perceived by men. Given the hysterical context of what's that word here? The context of black women, Latin and Asian women. The objectification of women, disproportionately affects women of color, and many cause them to be more susceptible to fetishizations. It creates fetishes in the mind of women, of Latin black women, right? And sexual violence. Furthermore, the overemphasis of looks subject women of color to be marginalized in social spaces because Eurocentric beauty standards prevails at predominantly white institutions. See, it's these institutions that's causing the problem. What I said earlier in my first video, these institutions are benefiting from these mindsets that people have today, these men and women have today, of thinking it's okay to behave this way, and it's not. It's causing your destruction. You're being destroyed by this. My people perish from the lack of knowledge. So I'm putting out this knowledge so that way you can get this information and be better. Women of color are often excluded from consideration within the interactions of hookup culture. Although encouragement of casual sex activity for women has become more popular, for women in college still seeks more than just casual sex. A survey conducted by Institute of American Value, IAV, in 2021 found that 63% of young women hope to meet their future spouses in college. 63%. And 83% of women saw marriage as an important goal. 83% of women saw marriage as an important goal. However, with hookup culture as the norm for college-age adults, opportunities to create interpersonal relationships become more scarce. And many women feel pressured to participate in hookup culture. So you guys are being peer pressured. That's an old tactic. Peer pressure is a mother. Y'all being peer pressured to just run around and sleep with different men. It's peer pressure. You've been tricked, you've been duped, you've been hoodwinked. Wow, that's crazy. In addition, women also under the pressure of following the trail of the feminist movement, which we know that feminists have already confirmed that this is not beneficial, right? It's not empowering. They verified it. It's not empowering, and it caused more women to be unhappy today than they've been in the past 60 to 100 years. More women have been more unhappy today in today's society than they have been in the past. So, in addition, women are also under pressure to follow the trait of the feminist movement. So you're under pressure to follow the feminist movement, and the feminist movement have tricked you. Feeling like they must be able to pursue emotional, unattached sex to truly be feminist, which is bullcrap. Proverbs 31 is the true nature of a woman, not what feminists has been teaching you. These pressures lead to feelings of guilt. When women catch unreciprocated feelings for a hookup partner, and they commonly suppress those feelings of blame or blame themselves for violating the expectations of freedom from emotional intimacy. You guys are being tricked, man. Women do reveal that they want more than sex. The expectation of hookup culture works against them and reinforces patriarchal stereotypes of women being inherently unable to remain unattached or unemotional, even though wanting interpersonal connections isn't bad or abnormal. Right? It is bad to just hook up. It's bad, period. Furthermore, hookup culture has no universal set guidelines of rules to follow. It doesn't. There's universal guidelines. That's why only people practice it in the West. Because most of you people in the West have been brainwashed. You're slow. A lot of you are slow. Right? It's that willy chip still activated in your brain. The term hookup is intentionally vague to promote freedom and discourage labels. The ambiguity allows for a lack of communication on both ends in terms of expectations, and the ambiguous context of hookup results in neglected romantic expectations, sexual confusion, emotional vulnerability, regret, and self-blame. The IAV study also found that the decision for a casual relationship to turn into committed relationship was up to the male, showing that hookup culture allows men to make choices while providing fewer options for women. So you guys talk about empowering women, but it just, when you do this, you give the man more of the option. You're giving him the control. Y'all be wanting control, but then y'all give him the control by allowing certain men to do this to you. The IB found that the decision for casual relationships in turn into a committed relationship was up to the male partner, showing that hookup culture allows men to make choices while providing few options for women. This yet another example of hookup culture lending more power to men than it does women. In conclusion, there is an outstanding difference in women's experience with hookup culture compared to men. It is a reality that does not meet feminist expectations of female empowerment and sexual liberation. Instead, these expectations are met with concerning reports of negative experiences and remorse. You guys have negative experiences and you have remorse. You know it. Therefore, it should promote having conversations about intentions, how far either party wants to go in the hookup, and expectations of how each party wants to be treated. Communication is the initial step to getting in the place in which women can have their cake and eat it too, which is a bunch of crap. You can't have your cake and eat it too. If you think you can, you're going to be in for a rude awakening, I tell you that, men and women. But there is still such to tackle in addressing the consequences in overreaching game, the institutions of patriarchal, heteronormative hookup culture. All right, that's it. That's the article. All right. So, once again, you've been tricked, ladies. You've been brainwashed thinking that it's okay to sleep with 50, 25, 100 men. As far as I'm concerned, a woman that has been with more than one man tend to be corrupt, which is the majority of women. Sorry to say, but it is what it is. Now, it's not saying that, no one would accept you, but you must make that decision now to stop sleeping with a whole bunch of men. That way you can bond with one man. Because here's the thing, here's a problem. Once you sleep with more than 2 or 3 men, you can't bond. It's hard to bond now because you done had so many different, you had a couple different flavors. So it's like, I don't know which one's my favorite. I don't know which one I like more. Right? It's hard to choose now. That's why it's good to just choose one man, stick with him. Here's the thing, you ladies have more power than you think. You need to stop sleeping around with men, and you need to cause these men to commit to you. You need to cause these men to commit to you based on your actions and your behavior. Because I tell you this, if you don't give it to him, you're probably thinking that another woman's going to give it to him. But if he goes to run to another woman and he can't wait for you, he wasn't for you. Period. He wasn't worthy of you. I'm going to say that. He wasn't worthy of you if he can't wait. If he's that desperate to just try to get in your pants and he can't wait for you, he wasn't worthy of you. Period. Simple. Point blank. All right. Also, I wanted to read a couple of other things, and I'm going to go ahead and end this video. Okay. Also, the definition of feminist, the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of equality of the sexes. We already confirmed that has completely messed society up as we know it today. A lot of people are just brainwashed into this nonsense. As its core, feminist is the belief of full sexual, economic, political equality for women. All right, that's what they portray it to be, but that's more to it than that. Also, another definition I wanted to share with you guys is the word misandry. Misandry is a dislike or contempt for and ingrained prejudice against men. A lot of you women are considered misandrous. You practice misandry, right? Where you guys hate men. But you guys are women. You're not supposed to be acting like a man. Men are men, women are women. We are completely different, but we are the same. Right? So, you guys are supposed to be holding yourselves to a high standard. A man can't disrespect you unless you allow him to. Let's be real now. You can't blame that on a man. Like that song by CeeLo. You got to respect yourself before we can. A woman must respect herself first before any man is going to respect her. If she doesn't respect herself, you can't expect anyone else to respect you. Simple. You got to respect yourself before a man can respect you. Misandry. So, a lot of women hate men. Also, another term I wanted to pull up real quick before I end this video is gynocracy. Another term for gynocrat, okay? It's a government by women. You guys are fell into this government by women, but we know that most women don't have foresight. They don't have they really can't. Most women can't see ahead. That's why they can run around and sleep with a whole bunch of men and think it's okay based upon their beauty and narcissism, right? And then when they get older, they're miserable because you didn't have foresight to see how damaging it is to just sleep with all these different men. I'm going at women because women, y'all supposed to be leaders. Y'all birth men and women. So y'all supposed to be the leaders in a sense. Y'all at least leaders of the household. You're leaders of the family. A man is the head, but you guys are leaders. But y'all don't act like it. Y'all act like savages. Y'all not savages. You are not a savage. You're not Megan Thee Stallion talking about I'm a savage. That's bullcrap. You guys are not savages. You act like savages, but you're not. Act accordingly. You are really the women of Proverbs 31. If y'all act like the women of Proverbs 31, 10 to 31, no man would never dream of leaving you. None. It would never cross his mind to ever leave you because he knows how valuable you are. You are worth more than rubies when you act like the Proverbs woman. You're invaluable. There's no amount of money you can put on her head. You can't give her $1 million to lay with her because she's worth more than that. You can't give her 10, 15, 20. You can't even give her 100 million. She's worth more than that. That's it, y'all. Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification so you can get future videos like this. Also, if you guys want to be better and do better, get yourself a numerology report. Get yourself an astrology report. And also, I'm going to actually start doing tarot readings as well. Okay? So, also, if you guys want a numerology report or an astrology report or a tarot reading, leave it in the comments, because if you send me an email, I might not get it because my email is flooded. I got like 500,000 emails right now that I need to get to, and I'm most likely not going to get to every single one of them. Some of them are going to slip under the radar, and I'm not going to get to them. So I'm probably like at least a month behind on my emails. So leave me a comment, so that way I can put you in a separate folder and we can communicate that way, and I can figure out what exactly you're looking to get done. Peace, YouTube. Thank you.